Welcome to the Railway Series Book Club, the podcast where we dissect the Railway series. I'm Jamie.
I'm Marina.
I'm Liv.
And we hope you enjoy the show. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Railway Series Book Club, the podcast where we talk about everyone's favorite number one blue engine, Thomas the Friend.
But what if your favorite number one blue engine is Skarloey?
Skarloey's not blue.
Skarloey's red.
Never blue.
Shit, I never realized.
Like,
Skarloey
you
is
can't
not
even...
blue.
See, if you'd said, like, Sir Handel or something, that'd be, like, haha, funny livery difference joke. But Skarloey is always red in every interpretation.
I know, that's the joke.
Well, no, this is the thing, right?
You're just being silly.
Skarloey has the blue lining.
Exactly. It all comes from
I look at Skarloey from a distance, and I look at Skarloey from a distance, and I don't see the fucking blue. I see the red. All right.
Yeah.
Fucking.
It's not about the blue in his paint. It's about the blue in his heart.
I mean, I guess if you were
If he had blue in his heart, I would feel bad for him, because that would mean that he is a sad little engine.
Oh, true. Yeah, actually, I take that back.
I mean, he is pretty sad when we first meet him, but that's
so
neither
sad.
here nor there.
He's so
Although,
lonely.
if you were a wrong person, you could argue that Bert is a number one blue engine, even though there's literally nothing to say that he was built before Rex and Mike, because he has no canon build date, and is said to be the youngest of the three.
Well, I mean...
So, you know,
we know...
anyone who tells you Bert is the oldest is wrong.
We know Rex, was built before Mike, at least, because in real life, the Mike's bassist was built out of Rex's powered tender. So when Mike is referring to them both being, like, when they were both green, it was the time he spent as Rex's ass.
No, that's fan and conjecture.
Yes, but it's
as funny,
so I like to consider it canon.
As funny as Mike being Rex's literal ass is,
Here's the thing, I don't care that it's not in the lore books, I just consider it canon because it's fucking funny.
Yeah, let's get away from this. We need to introduce ourselves. Hello everybody. I am Jamie, your hostess with the mostest. Pronouns she, her.
I'm Marina, your local TV series bitch. She, her.
I'm Liv. I'm the British one. She, her.
Gonna keep that long pause in, aren't we?
Jamie, if we
yes.
have any respect for our viewers.
I'll make sure to remember to keep it in.
Well, we literally just said to keep it in. You don't need to remember. You're the one editing this.
Oh yeah, right.
And we have a guest with us as well.
And I'm Andrew. They just can't get rid of me. I go by they, them.
And today we're talking about what I would argue to be the best Thomas story of all time, unless you were to bring up Thomas's Train, which I'd argue could also be the best Thomas story of all time. You know, you can make a solid case for either one, but I like this one a little bit more.
This isn't Train Stops Play.
This isn't Thomas
Train
Goes
Stops Play
Pop from season 13 or 14.
Train Stops Play doesn't revolve around Thomas. That's...
Thomas is tangentially related.
This isn't Thomas in the UK visit.
Yeah.
UK trip. This isn't Thomas in the footage of the season 3 name boards they never used.
What?
Yeah, the name boards for Oliver, Mavis, and Bulgy are only in Thomas and the UK trip.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant there was like a season 3 version of Thomas's name board that they didn't use or something.
I wish they did the name boards more.
Yeah, we deserved more name boards.
They just couldn't...
I mean, I guess since like barely anything had a name in season 5, they kind of got away with it. But like, I mean,
they could have at least done like old Slow Coach and fucking one of Cranky would be really funny.
Like, yeah, they can have him like.
It'd probably just have to be Cranky holding up the sign,
which would be amazing.
I think. I think it would be funny if they, much like in Series 4, how they did Tom Tipper's Post Van, a name board for that. For Series 5, they did one of the fire engines.
Yeah.
We should have done one for Butch about the face.
Here's the thing, I
Yeah.
could see them
And
doing
another
that.
of Butch with the face.
Yeah.
And they have him show up twice in the same sequence.
I love. Wasn't the post?
The only thing separating them, Diesel.
Weren't the post
Yes.
van and the Class 40 name boards like only used like once?
I think so.
Probably once. I only remember them being on the fucking special letter VHS.
Yeah, I think like one was in Special Letter and one was in another. I don't really remember.
We're really good at tangents today.
Yes.
Can we talk about the
We already said we
Nintendo
were
shit
talking about-
cube again?
No.
No.
Can we talk about how to put fish in a bucket?
Yes.
Oh no, the poor fish.
See, I was gonna say today we're gonna talk about Thomas Goes Fishing, but I just realized I already said that. That's how we got in this fucking tangent to begin with. Today we're talking about Thomas Goes Fishing!
Today we're talking about Thomas Goes Fishing.
Yes.
Today we're talking about
I
Fishing
don't-
Goes Thomas.
Percy,
Goes
where
fishing,
are
Thomas.
you?
Goes Thomas Fishing?
It's a
Fucking
sunny
someone-
old day
Is
and
it
you're on
Thomas
your
Goes?
way. Why don't we all go
Can we
fishing?
open the door?
On fishing. Okay, so Jamie, do you have anything to start us off with about this story?
Not really. I guess, like, the most, like, relevant behind-the-scenes thing to say about this story would be that it inspired one of the best classic Thomas songs, Gone Fishin'.
I
Yeah.
believe this story is also
Alright,
actually based on
with the-
something that happened.
I
Yeah.
think so.
I wouldn't be surprised
was,
if it was. It
I-
absolutely sounds like something that would happen.
I may be misremembering this. Alti sent me a PDF of information about all the stories all the way up until fucking Jock the New Engine, for like interesting stuff we could talk about. And one of them was apparently this is based on a driver who kept fish in the water tank of his engine's tender to keep the water clean by like eating up the algae and shit.
Because
Huh.
I'm sure that would never go wrong.
Yeah.
That reminds me of how fucking David Mitten apparently kept fucking fish in the fucking Tug's
Yeah.
tank.
Yeah, someone put fish in the Tug's tank just as a joke, and Dave Mitten was like, "No, I'm gonna keep these fish alive. There are fish now."
I feel like that
And then they
And
just
then they-
died
and then they all-
because
and
they
then
were in
they-
the Tug's tank full of
Yeah, then
food coloring
they
and
all died.
toxic men.
They all died.
And they also filmed fucking munitions.
Munitions? Yeah. Oh, they're probably already dead by then.
Yeah.
I hope they were.
God, imagine being a fish and just seeing an explosion.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing the fucking, the fuel barge that, takes out fucking going up, and then there's... and then just one little fish rises up to the top.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, that is
I just imagine like a
Poor fish.
terrified fish that just like sees fire and explosions erupting. Like you're a fish. You don't know
Oh,
what
no, the
you,
poor
you don't know what
fish.
you're looking at.
Anyway, guys, stream Fishing for Fishies by King Gizzard in the link. Alright, Thomas Goes Fishing.
All right, let's get into the story, I
Yeah.
guess. Since that's really all there is of interest is the song and also fish in the Tug's tank, I guess.
It's a sunny old day and I'm feeling gay.
Oh, that's every day.
I'm feeling gay even when it's not sunny.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not sunny because Mr. C's not at the window. And look.
Fuck off, Andrew.
Thomas Goes Fishing. Thomas's branch line had a station by a river. As he rumbled over the bridge, he would see people fishing. Sometimes they stood quietly by their lines. Sometimes they were actually jerking fish out of the water. Thomas often wanted to stay and watch, but his driver said, "No. What would the fat controller say if we were late?" Thomas thought it would be lovely to stop by the river. "I should like to go fishing," he said to himself longingly.
Okay, so I think it's adorable that Thomas wants to go fishing.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah. It's so fun of him to have an irrational desire.
Yeah. fucking love those for him.
Yeah. I also love this illustration.
I kind of hope that, like, on a day off, the driver actually took him fishing to the bridge. And, like, they just kind of
they cannot stop by the river on the bridge because there are no signals on the bridge. Regards.
Yeah, Rule 55, guys.
Rule 55
I was gonna say, isn't there a traffic light at the end of the bridge? But I was thinking of the bridge Birdie goes across.
Yes, which you can see in the background of this illustration.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this illustration is very good.
Oh, it's so good.
It is.
It
is very good.
This is the L's Bridge.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah, I love that L's Bridge is just named that because there is a bridge runs up through the river L's.
Yeah, that's how English place names
Yeah,
work.
it's like Cambridge.
You know,
Yeah.
I do kind of like how, like, Audrey explains this in the fucking lore books, where basically, like, you know, a lot of the place names, like, on the western side of the island were, you know, settled in by a lot of English people at first, so they gave them more English place names compared to, like, other regions which would have more Cedric place names.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is a question I don't know if there's actually an answer to, because this came up when I had a friend over today, and this came up because I was talking about how we're going to be recording this. What kind of fish are in the River L's? What are these people fishing for?
Fishies.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe
I don't
like
think about fish
salmon,
enough to-
trout,
Trout sounds
You know.
about right.
That's the name of an A3.
kippers, maybe?
No, the kippers are at Tidmouth.
Oh, yeah.
Although, Hugh, that's not the script.
Yeah, that's where they fly
It's an
from.
advertisement for Tidmouth kippers.
I was waiting for the
Buy them.
always fresh and always tasty.
I'm surprising entrance is good.
These kippers fresh.
I love everything about this illustration.
Yeah.
It's a really, really pretty illustration.
Yeah, it really
in
goes to
fact-
show that Dalby is a really good illustrator. Definitely not very good at drawing trains, but he's very good at drawing like, people and scenery.
Yeah.
I wrote in my notes a few days ago that I guess on a day where my art history brain went like full fucking like force, that like this illustration really has like shades of like influence from like the Impressionist movement. In fact,
I
like
can see that.
the composition itself is pretty like reminiscent of Seurat's A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte, which if you don't know like the titles of paintings, that's the one with a whole bunch of people in it under the shade of some trees and they're like looking towards the water.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Just love the brushstrokes here, and I love the way the environment is just crafted and like how well he paints the like reflections in the water.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah,
Learning
just
from that.
The vibes in this piece are immaculate. You can totally understand why Thomas would want to stop here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like the architectural design of like the really big arch and the two little walkway arches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of that one. I'm sure there's more than one bridge like this, but I remember seeing like this one, like railway architecture documentary that I think was being presented by fuckface McJeremy Clarkson, who it's like, you know, this really wide arch that everyone said, hey, this will probably collapse, and then it didn't. So I don't know if this bridge is based on that, but it reminded me of it just now.
I think that like the architecture of like 19th century, like 18th and 19th century British railways is really appealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's like,
Speaking of railways, though, the only like minor thing I could point out about this page is just the only blemish I think I could maybe see, and I don't know if I'd actually count it as one, is the proportions of Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle they're not bad by any means. I actually like
Small.
it's very like silly, I think, but just because of how tiny Thomas is and how long Annie and Clarabelle are. But at the same time, I do really like the image of super tall Annie and Clarabelle next to manlet Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of why I like long Annie and Clarabelle in general, is just because they're so much bigger than he is.
See, I'm just
and I like
imagining.
that.
I'm just imagining now, like, two really buff sisters, like on either side of like baby Thomas.
I mean, is that not what
Yeah.
they've always been, though? Like, tell me
Yeah.
that's not their, like, Brenner era characterization.
Okay, I was just gonna say that, like, something else I really like about this illustration is that, compared to a lot of other, illustrations we've had in this book, it's not really, like, the composition isn't really focused on the railway.
Yeah.
It's a lot more of a landscape.
Yeah, it absolutely is, like, much more of a landscape painting. But, like, it is just, you're walking down the path and you see all these people fishing, and then peep peep boop boop along both Thomas along the bridge, and it's just, it is just a very, like, pleasant, serene vibe in there.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the windmill shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Imagine
don't,
living in a universe where, like, instead of doing the windmill shot, this was our, the opening shot of Thomas is just an adaptation of this
Okay, but like
illustration.
it would actually be a really good one.
Yeah!
Yeah.
It'd still
They'd-
work.
I think they'd have been able to make it work. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I could totally see them pulling
Like
that off. and just
I
making it
don't
look
think
gorgeous.
I don't think the mill, like the windmill, is actually like a railway series thing. But I don't give a shit. That windmill
No.
is canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same with the watermill.
Yeah.
There is the windmill at Crow's Farm Crossing, so you could just say it's that.
Yeah.
True.
Crow's Farm Crossing. Shan't be long now.
We shan't be long now.
Yep.
Well, we shall be, because it'll be about
It'd be about
3 or
like
4 years till we
like
get
4
that.
years until we
It'll
get
be
to
so
that
long
point.
until we get to that book.
wait, what's Crow's Farm Crossing?
Ghost
They
Train.
say it in the thing.
Oh. I didn't remember that.
Every time I read this story, every time, without fail, every time I read his driver said no line, I just hear Ringo saying no.
Yeah, I tried to channel that when I read
Because
the
of-
thing.
It was felt. The vibe was felt. It's just because of how much the fucking TV episode became a YouTube poop source back in the day.
Yeah.
that it's the best no.
Would you
No.
say that?
No.
Would you say that the vibe was properly checked?
No.
No.
Good. Hey, one last thing before we move on. Obviously, this is like spoiling further in the story, but like, I would assume if you're listening to this, you know the story anyway. I love
Yeah.
that like this has a permanent impact on Thomas's character. This whole event, because
Yeah.
he goes from like
Yeah.
really wanting to fish to just fucking hating fish in general, which it's like, honestly,
Yeah.
I can relate to that whole thing, because it's like, I love fish when they're like in tanks and stuff, because they're cute, but then like, fucking fish smell
Smish.
horrible. I got the words.
Smishing
I was like thinking of saying the smell and fish, so like I mixed them up. But the smell of fish is awful, and like I don't like eating fish, and also because I can relate to having a terrible experience fishing that makes you never want to do it again. Because when I was little, me and my sister went fishing with my dad, and like I caught a like fish that was like big. And, like, my parents and stuff were like, oh my god, like, good job, Marina, like, blah, blah, blah. We're, like, taking it home and all of that. And then they took it out of, like, the water cooler thing and hung it on a fishing hook till it died. And then my dad cut it up. And then we ate it. and I didn't really eat that night, and I never wanted to go fishing again because I didn't want to hurt them.
Once again, stream Fishing for Fishies by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
So now I have to ask.
'Cause-
Is this another one of the increasingly ridiculous marina stories that just forms the marina we know
No,
today?
this is just sympathetic. I just sympathize with this
Aw.
one.
Every time he met another engine, he would say, "I want to fish." They all answered, "Engines don't go fishing." "Silly stick in the muds," he would snort impatiently. Thomas generally had to take in water at the station by the river. One day, he stopped as usual, and his fireman put the pipe from the water tower into his tank. Then he turned the tap, but it was out of order, and no water came out. "Bother," said Thomas, "I am thirsty." "Never mind," said his driver. "We'll get some water from the river."
Is this like one of the only times we actually see Elsbridge Station in the railway series?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
This is Elsbridge?
Yeah, this.
Yeah,
it's
because
Elsbridge.
it's by the river. It's by the Els Bridge.
Yeah.
It's
Huh.
remember,
Literally.
Mari, in the books, Elsbridge isn't the junction.
Yeah, Knapford's the junction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can honestly see why they, I understand why they made Elsbridge the junction in the TV series, because, it could easily be by the river, and since they had, and since they made the mistake of making Knapford the big station, Elsbridge the junction is fine, works for that setting. I prefer it not being the junction, if only because railway series map makes more sense generally, but
See,
Yep.
I'm of the opinion that if it was called Knapford Junction with the season 4 Elsbridge set, it would be peak.
yeah, it would, the set isn't even bad. I just take issue with, the naming
Oh, yeah.
of the stations.
The set looks great.
Yeah.
It's just that the way it's named is no.
Yeah.
No.
I think it was, wasn't it Stuart who, Stuart Old Long Syne, who made, a post about how, railway series, Knapford Junction just makes, not an awful lot of sense, and somehow the TV version makes the most sense out of the track layout, but loses points for having the wrong name.
It might have been
I think a lot about the tweet that's Audrey's secret collection of models but gets discovered one day. Fans have a meltdown because it turns out he's actually called the Fergus.
Wait, what?
What I've just sent is
Ooh.
completely unrelated. It's just for something I'm about to discuss, or at least after this bit. But
Oh my god.
cut that out. Cut that out.
It's a very good
That
tweet.
looks incredible.
Shit.
Just saying the truth. It's amazing. Genuinely. I looked at it and I honestly thought that was an official illustration from something.
That's very good of
Hey
you.
everybody, follow Andrew. Follow Andrew on Twitter to see really good art, because they're very talented and amazing.
Yeah, sometimes I stream games that run at 3 frames per second.
I like in the TV series how they make, because the narration is kept the same with, every time you met another engine, rather than, it actually being a conversation, but I like that it's specifically James they pick. For some reason that just,
Yeah.
it fits really well for me.
Yeah.
See, to me, in my mind, this story, it just is James.
Yeah. No, that's how I always saw
Oh, yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think that, this would be something Thomas would bring up to literally every engine whenever he has a chance
Yeah.
during these days.
But, I feel like
You know.
James would be the more...
Yeah.
I feel like Gordon would try and ignore him and just be like, yeah, that's stupid, Thomas. Stop. And, James would be like, shut the fuck up, engines can't fish, you fucking idiot. Also, just a thing that still just kind of, drives me crazy every time I think of it. I don't think there was a specifically Thomas and James based episode or like a story based like explicitly like mostly on an interaction between the two of them until Reds versus Blues in
Thomas's
fucking
New
season
Trucks?
19. What?
Thomas's New
Wait,
Trucks?
hold on. There's Thomas's New Trucks, and I'm.
Oh yeah, I
there's-
forgot New Trucks.
I think this Thomas. God, Is it Thomas and the- is it Thomas and the Team Colors?
Oh,
the one
yeah.
with the wooden James
I was
and Team
thinking
Colors comes
fireworks
from.
display.
Yeah,
Oh,
never
yeah, that
mind.
one too.
There were some in the hit model era. I'm an idiot.
Well, you know, to be fair, Reds versus Blues is the first good one.
Yeah. It's just it happens way less than you would expect.
I will not take.
Yeah.
I will not take this Thomas and the Fireworks slander.
I just straight up do
Thomas
not
and the
remember
Fireworks
that
is
episode.
watchable. It's watchable. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. I'm a heathen because I actually like season 8.
I know, I enjoy
I
season 8
tolerate
too.
season 8.
Season 8
alright.
is tolerable.
I,
Eh.
That's the thing, I really don't mind the hit model era.
Look, I think we all know that the hit model era is the best era because season 12 is in it.
Yes. But
Because what was in
Season
it?
12.
season
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I agree. I think that season 12 is better than season 1. Anyone who disagrees is a woman.
yeah.
I think this is the second episode in a row we talked about the person who must not be named and clowned on him.
Yeah, alright, yeah, now let's not wander back that way. That's the same joke I made last time.
Yeah.
Dumb. Can I ask a dumb question now?
Yeah.
You may receive a dumb answer.
The like water pipe thing here, where it's like a pipe and like the TV series has the same one and stuff. Is that like more common or something than like the round
Yeah.
ones? Because I like
Yeah,
know I've
usually
probably
would be,
seen
depending on
them,
the
but I
location.
always just think of the round toy ones.
Yeah, like
like-
the
yeah, the
round
ones with, like, the
tops are a
big
lot
teeth.
more like. I think they might be an older design, just because they like
Yeah.
it's literally just a water tank up there, whereas like these types of water towers would just pump in water from
The ground.
a reservoir somewhere.
Huh.
Yeah, and these would be a more common sight on station platforms as well,
Oh.
which is why it's on the station platform.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
I figured, but
They're usually called standpipes. and
I just-
shit.
like it's like the kind of thing where it's like I know I've seen it before, but it was just like, every time they mention a water tower, like I always picture the round one, which I guess is why they use
Like
those
the
more.
wooden railway kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also the Tallington Railways like stone one.
Oh yeah, the one where they
Oh.
just literally route it through like a wooden box. I like that one. I think it's funny.
And like it's
Yeah.
just like they just get like a plank of wood with like 2 other planks of wood nailed to it, and just let the water flow down it into the fucking tanks.
Most of the time it just misses.
Nice.
Yeah.
The
Um,
Tallington Railway really is
yeah.
just Sodor, but in real life.
A little bit,
Like
yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw the video they did yesterday on the 45th anniversary of the extension, but someone tells a story about how like while they were extending the line, some trucks just rolled away and they just had to use Midlander to chase them. And like
God, I remember you telling me about that.
and there's like he says that there were people working at the bottom of the hill, so they have to chase it and get the truck before they just run over these fucking people. So like the only reason they actually like got out of the way is because they hear Midlander just screaming down the hill. Then they're like, okay, we got to move the train, and then the trucks just come rolling through.
Isn't that the plot? Like literally the plot of like a season 8 episode or something?
Yeah, it's like Thomas saves the day or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one where Thomas punches James with the Stradley coaching.
Yeah.
And James is just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Thomas, you miserable cunt!
Thinking about it, that
You
that is an episode I like. It's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the better
It,
ones.
it does more with
Casper
Annie
Broken
Clarabelle and Thomas's relationship than 99.9% of the show before season 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say, because I'm a shill, it was already like at least discussed a little bit earlier, but a while ago I redrew this illustration here, this second one. You might be seeing it on your screen right
Maybe.
now.
I'll put it in. It's really fucking good.
But if you're not, good luck. Yeah, it's just a piece I'm generally really proud of.
The TV series version of this episode is like virtually identical. Changes are like extremely minimal to the point where they're basically the same thing. The only like major difference is on this page where instead of like turning the tap and finding out there's no water, they just see the sign that says out of order. Obviously that was just done to like, cut down on time. I do kind of prefer the version in the original text just because like they discover it by like trying out the water tower instead of just taking the sign's word for it.
I feel like the TV series change was because they also replace it, I'm pretty sure, with longer dialogue from Thomas. I feel like it was the result of the fact that like they couldn't really do much with people in the model series.
Yeah.
Like they were
Yeah.
Especially not that early on.
yeah, like they were like they probably feasibly show like the driver and like fireman like checking it without like it just being like one or two static images, so they probably just thought it was easier to like add like, okay, well, the engine is the character that we can do stuff with, so Thomas notices.
Yeah. That and sort of expand upon that. They do just film around them not being able to do much with people because you do just get close-up shots of Bucket being pulled up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will say, like, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here, but as a kid, I loved the shot of the bucket just coming out of the water.
Oh, you know, it's a
yeah.
good
It
shot.
was a pretty good one.
It is a really good...
Yeah.
It's a sign of a thing in, I thought of this because of, it's not exactly the same situation, but, like, I've recently watched, like, some episodes of, like, Batman the Animated Series with, my sister, and the creators, like, the team for that, basically their whole thing was, whatever, like, limits or restrictions higher-ups, like, placed on them, like, of, like, oh, you can't do this because, like, it's inappropriate or whatever, they would find a way to do what they wanted and, like, fitting those restrictions in a way that makes it even, like, cooler or more impactful or, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something
that's one of the best
TV
parts of that
series
whole,
crew
like...
was really good at.
Yeah. That's like probably the best thing about that whole, like, string of cartoons they made in the DC universe is just, playing with the censorship laws in a way that makes it, like, even cooler.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of why the Joker's so good in that universe, is because he has to be more creative than just blowing up a bus or two.
Yeah. Yeah, like, they have to put more thought into what they do rather than just, like, hey, we can be, like, fucking gory and stuff.
Also, like,
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but I think that's where Harley Quinn came from, and I like Harley Quinn.
Yes, yeah.
It
Yes.
Yeah,
This all ties into
Thomas
Thomas
really
because
does live in
Thomas
a
was
society.
Batman in the short.
Oh yeah,
This
Thomas...
is true, he was,
Thomas-
and Millie was
Thomas
Harley
was
Quinn.
Thomas
I have
was
the mini on
Superman.
my desk.
I have the fucking San Diego Comic-Con display that has the exclusive Dark Knight Diesel, and for some reason, the exclusive version of Cyborg Spencer with the a transparent blue smoke box, which for some reason wasn't on the production model.
Probably cheaper. But
Yeah.
I considered buying that at the time, and I kind of wish I did.
Yeah.
Also have Millie as Catwoman, Thomas as Batman.
God, I really wish I'd like been into minis when they started like making a fuck ton of those, because like now that I've kind of been getting back into the DC animated like universe of like stuff, and like I just see, oh fuck, they made Henry as Batman Beyond. I want that now, because Batman Beyond is goated.
My main memory of minis is just like this one friend I have who's like into Thomas, but he's not really engaging in the fandom. And he just says, like, yeah, one time I bought one of those blind bag Thomas toys as just, like, a bit of fun. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't a fucking Tootsie Roll Percy.
And that's one of the better ones. You could have gotten fucking, like, Booger or, like, Ben or whatever the fuck they released.
Yeah, fucking Booger Ben. You know, I still pine for Sugar Daddy Toby.
Yes!
Yeah.
That is one that I need. Like, straight up.
Who's your daddy, Henrietta?
Straight up. Same with the fucking Skeleton Thomas.
Yeah.
That looks sick.
If you ever want any of the DC minis, it seems like they're all pretty cheap.
Well, that's cool. I might look into that at some point, just because
Yeah, like,
I really want Batman Beyond Henry now.
minis themselves generally seem to go for, like, at least, like, $3 on eBay's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe more if whoever's selling is, like, sadistic.
I guess it...
I mean, they sell them in stores for, like, you know, pretty cheap, and the DC ones I don't think have been in production for a while, so I feel like, you know, $3 or so is a fair price.
Yeah, especially because
Yeah.
I think that's less than double
I think
retail.
$3 is it is less than double retail, yeah, because I remember them just being like $1.75 back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the olden days of 2015.
I think I have like a
thing?
full set of the 2015 minis.
Do you know the really
I'm not sure on
infuriating
that one.
thing?
What?
The only minis I currently have in my room, because I'm pretty sure all the others got put in the attic or sold, is just two fucking B-James.
Yeah.
I
Fucking
found-
send me one, please.
I found them in a storage box that's under my bed that has like a couple of random things that I guess just didn't end up getting put in the attic when we redecorated. So, I actually have them on I have one of them on the take along flatbed, the like wind up flatbed that Westy sent me. He sent me a wind up Stepney with a flatbed, and he sent me Caroline as well, but Caroline's eye broke off during shipping and I couldn't fucking find it.
Oh.
So,
Send me one of the B. Jameses, please.
what are you willing to pay for it?
Thought what we had was special.
What we have is special, Murray, but I'm not willing to give you more B. James without some form of emotional compensation.
We'll talk about this after. Oh, yeah. One last thing I do have to say about this page. I kind of wish it was Thomas that suggested it. I don't know. Like, I feel like... I don't know,
that.
like, how you'd...
Like
exactly
it could-
pull off the scene, but, like, I think it would have been
It could just
cuter.
be like
and...
Thomas is like, oh, this is my chance to fish.
Hello, everybody. This is Jamie from the future, who totally didn't lose a bunch of audio, but accidentally fucking up Audacity, and needing to re-record a page. They found a bucket and some rope, and went to the bridge. Then the driver lowered the bucket down to the water. The bucket was old and had 5 holes, so they had to quickly fill it, pull it up, and empty it into Thomas's tank as quickly as they could. "There's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza," sang the fireman. "Never you mind about Liza," said the driver. "You empty that bucket before you spill the water over me." They finished at last. That's good," puffed Thomas as he started, and Annie and Clarabelle ran happily behind. They puffed along the valley, and were in the tunnel when Thomas began to feel a pain in his boiler, while steam hissed from his safety valve in an alarming way. "There's too much steam," said his driver, and his fireman opened the tap in the feed pipe. "There's too much steam," said his driver. And his fireman opened the tap in the feed pipe to let more water into the boiler. But none came. "Oh dear," groaned Thomas. "I'm going to burst! I'm going to burst!" Thomas looks like he ate a fucking lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may be
His
wrong.
face is
Stuart
fucking... uses this face in Thomas and the Fire
I may
Engine.
be wrong, but I think this is the first appearance of Hackenbeck Tunnel.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
I didn't even know that was a location. That's cool.
Yeah, Hackenbeck
Yeah,
Tunnel
it's
is...
where he gets stuck in the snowdrift.
Is,
Yeah, it's where he gets stuck in the snowdrift,
yeah.
and it's the tunnel that just before Mrs. Kindly's house.
Yeah.
I should have known it had
Yeah.
a name.
It's near Hackenbeck Station, so it's Hackenbeck Tunnel.
Nice.
Hickety beak.
Two things. I fucking love Johnny Morris's pained Thomas
Yeah.
voices,
I
because
meant to listen to Johnny Morris before
The-
we started.
they're somehow both, like, fucking, like, weird, but, like, it also still makes you feel sorry for him, so it works well.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid just being like, "No, Thomas."
Yeah, he's in so much pain. I like in the TV series version how, like, it starts with, like, Thomas's theme, and then it just
And then it
fucking, like,
just starts
gets
Yes, the
like,
music in the scene
distorted.
is so
Oh, like,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
Oh
like-
yeah. It's so
But
good.
I guess what would be the sad Thomas theme, I guess you could call it, is like, I think it's only used in that one episode, and it's a really nice piece. You can tell that it's like,
Yeah,
you can tell it's going for like a oh fuck kind of tone.
It distorts a
yeah,
lot,
I also really
which-
like the theme that leads up to it,
Yeah.
where it's like, I think it's like the theme in a minor key or something. It just lets you know
Yeah.
something is wrong as soon as you hear it. This episode, the TV version of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I really love the score in the TV version of this. Just does a lot for the story.
It really does.
It really does. It
it's
bolsters
also
it by a lot, and this is already a great
Yeah.
story. So like,
It's just this is a small thing. I like how when they talk about Thomas's safety valve, they just go into the cab because the model didn't have a safety valve.
Yeah, they interpreted his safety valves as his whistle.
Which, okay, like, I kind of wish he had a safety valve, but at the same time, it got Thomas's double whistles out of it, so I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the double whistles.
I also like the double whistles.
Yeah.
However, double whistles with safety valve, that's
Yep.
See,
what's
like, I think the only engines that had double whistles were, Great Western stuff.
Yeah, because they had
Yeah.
the funny brake whistle, which are in that really good
With
story
Toad. Yeah,
they
about
had the
Oliver and
tip
Toad.
toad.
Which is,
Yeah. Tone Deaf by TARDIS Rescues.
I remember I showed that to Mari, and, like, I think she liked it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I think you said, like, you went that into Oliver, generally.
Yeah, and it used him really well.
I feel like Oliver is definitely, like, this is going a bit off topic, but, like, I feel like Oliver is definitely the kind of character that has a lot of potential, but they just never really got to really strongly utilize him because of when he was introduced in the books.
Yeah.
Another thing with this illustration, I just really like how they draw, like, the cuttings and everything. Like, it looks like the sun is, like, kind of, like, just, like, shooting straight down onto the grass, and it looks really sunny and warm, and it looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit more impressionist influence, I'd say. Matches with the lighting
Yeah.
too, really, because you can tell sort of where the light source is, and you can see it. Maybe not entirely on Thomas himself, apart from like his splasher on like his right hand side, but certainly around Thomas, like on the fireman and the cutting.
I am-
shit.
I
And the
might
bush.
just be, like, inferring this, but from what I can tell, over the course of, like, this illustration, the one before it, and the one after it, it feels like the color palette is getting, like, hotter and hotter. which is I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was, that's a really clever way of showing that oh fuck, Thomas is getting way hotter than he should be.
I always kind of interpreted it as the passage of time, the sun is kind of setting in the background.
That could definitely be it too.
Yeah, that too. Because the sky does sort of start to get a bit more purpley yellower as the story goes on.
Yeah.
And indeed, by the end of the story, it's evening.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at Thomas in this illustration here. Is it a thing that for a while his the slope at the front was more of a it sloped and then just went straight? Because that's kind of what it's doing here. It's not it's not a smooth. It's not a smooth.
Yeah, it is kind of a curve, I guess, in this one. I don't know. I think it's kind of inconsistent.
It is very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, looking at the other illustrations, the next one has it like this, where it's kind of a sharp, drop, whereas the last illustration has it...
Actually.
The second to last one has it with the gradual drop, so it's more of a Dalby thing, it seems like.
I kind of like it, actually.
Yeah, looking at the Thomas and the Trucks illustration now, Dalby definitely at least looked at that when painting this one. Because you can totally, see it, with the way Thomas is shaped and the sides of his frame plates being, that very, very light shaded.
They damped down his fire and struggled on. "I've got such a pain! I've got such a pain!" Thomas hissed. Just outside the last station, they stopped, uncoupled Annie and Clarabelle, and ran Thomas, who was still hissing fit to burst, on a siding right out of the way. Then, while the guard telephoned for an engine inspector, and the fireman was putting out the fire, the driver wrote notices in large letters that he hung on Thomas in front and behind. "Danger! Keep away!" Thomas is upset.
Is not doing well.
Yeah,
Poor
oh my
Thomas.
god, he looks like he's dying.
I mean, for an engine, this probably does feel like
he needs
dying.
water. He's thirsty.
Gordon, your boiler will blow up.
I'm thirsty.
He's probably feeling a mixture of dehydrated and a lack
he's
of breath.
dehydrated.
Yeah.
He's out of breath, overheating. It's not fun.
He's way too hot. He's not having a good day.
Too hot for Thomas.
Ah!
You can see the steam shooting out of his funnel, the safety
Yeah.
valve, and both the
Yeah.
cylinders.
Especially the safety valves.
Jesus,
Safety valves are
yeah.
especially fucking going.
The safety valve is trying to vent as much steam as it possibly can.
Vent? Like in Among Us?
It is not having a good time.
Vent like a Among Us imposter.
Oh shit, this whole time Thomas is sus.
When the bucket is sus.
Also, this is isn't accurate to how it's portrayed later, but this is the first
Farker.
time we see Farquhar.
Dude, Farker.
I love
Oh,
Farker.
shit.
We had this conversation
I want
last
you-
time.
Do you want me to leave the podcast?
English
and
place
never come
names
back?
are
Do you want
dumb,
me to leave the podcast
so it
and
makes
never
sense.
come back?
You have no legs to stand on, little miss.
And I'm English. I have
You have
the
no leg to
authority
stand on,
here.
little miss.
I like Farker just because it sounds like a fucker.
I am English. I have the authority
Do
here.
you?
Sorry, last I checked, we're an independent nation to simply being colonies of the United Kingdom.
Yeah,
So,
the other...
take
The
another
other
look
three of
there,
us live in
put that in your pipe
America.
and
Strictly
smoke it.
speaking, no, you don't have any control over us.
Good to hear you over the sound of my freedom.
Listen to me. My opinions are better.
Okay. I'll enjoy Ferdinand as much as I like.
I'm disappointed that when Thomas is to Percy, oh, danger means falling down something, he wasn't really quietly after that, or blowing up. What?
See, that's
don't
that's
ask.
part of the
Well, I don't think
reason
Thomas
why
could-
I, I feel like the out of order sign is a bit weird, is because, like, you know, I feel like Thomas shouldn't be able to read. Like,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
that,
That and Thomas.
like, he doesn't understand words.
I don't think Thomas can see the signs.
See, like, I feel like with the danger sign, like, at like, the mine and at the key, it's not that he can read, it's just that he
Yeah.
knows that sign means no.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't really have any concept of why it means no. He just knows from, like, context clues and, like, what his crew have said. This one
Yeah.
means no go.
But I want to go. I'm gonna defy this sign. This sign can't stop me because I can't
This
read.
is the thing, I said this before, but I feel
I
like...
literally drew that, except fucking Percy takes the plunge.
I said this before, but I feel like out of all the engines, the only one
Yeah.
that can probably read is
Definitely.
Toby.
I like the thing in Thomas the Bachman model, I think, where like James is the only one that can read, and even
Yeah.
then it's like not well. Road.
Thomas the
Gang.
Bachman model is still really impressive for the time it came out.
Percy's branch line.
It holds up way better
Percy's
than you would
branch line
think it
still
would.
fucking
Yeah.
slaps. Like,
Yeah.
I'd argue that that's still one of the all-time greats of in terms of fan content. Like,
It really is.
god damn. I put in my notes that I like how all of these passengers are crowded around at a distance from Thomas, but should Thomas have actually, like, blown up, they would probably still not be safe at that distance.
Yeah.
So they were very
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything more realistic than that? Have you seen
Oh,
car
absolutely.
crashes?
Yeah, these people are just
Absolutely,
rubbernecking
and
a
I
fucking
couldn't- and I
train
couldn't
about
take
to
my eyes
explode.
from it.
I have a lot to talk about with this story that I can't really talk about until, like, the final bit of it, because, like, a lot of my feelings on this story, because this fucking sent me on an existential crisis before I'll, continue it, like, before I go into more detail later, and, like, yeah, I don't, like, if, like, I seem like I'm not saying much about the actual story, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else for this page?
That was the last thing I had.
Sad. Next page. Soon, the inspector and the fat controller arrived. "Cheer up, chummish," they said. "We'll soon put you right." The driver told them what had happened. "So the feed pipe is blocked," said the inspector. "I'll just look in the tanks." He climbed up and peered in. Then he came down. "Excuse me, sir," he said to the fat controller. "Please look in the tank and tell me what you see." "Certainly, Inspector." He clambered up, looked in, and nearly fell off in surprise. "Inspector," he whispered, "can you see fish?"
Okay, so the first thing I want to say here is the part of the inspector like climbing up, peering in, and then just coming down gives me the vibes of like, I don't know if any of you have seen Shaun of the Dead.
I haven't,
But,
I'm aware.
the scene where it's like Ed asks like, are they still outside? And Sean just goes and he opens the curtain to the two zombies in the garden and he just shuts them again. Yeah.
Can relate. I really like the driver, the fireman, and the station master just sort of crowding around the holy bucket
Yeah.
while the fat controller and the inspector are just looking at it, while
Yeah.
Thomas is just trying to see what's below him.
What is this?
I can't
it's like
fucking
weird,
read.
Like, symbols. What the fuck are these weird ass like red shapes?
Driver,
Shit,
why-
fuck this.
Did somebody
Oh,
turn
no.
James into glue?
Thomas, I've been turned into glue.
Is this what those people, like, from that, like, one Satanist town are always like
Kildare.
writing on the coaches or something. Yeah,
Church of the Devil.
exactly. I couldn't remember it, so I couldn't make the joke properly.
I think Kildane is where the Ironworks is.
I think it is. Are we gonna acknowledge the most important part of this page, though? The fact that the TV series version of this moment gave us the O face.
The meme.
Which I see, like, people who aren't, like, Thomas fans and stuff use that either, like, as, like, profile pictures or in, like, fucking YouTube poops, and it's weird.
Like, it's just one of the few Thomas memes, I do like it. It's funny, I guess.
I don't really like most of the Thomas
Most of them are
memes
kind of
'cause,
shit.
like, not even really because they're bad memes. Most of them because, like, they just take a line from the show and just make it wrong.
Yeah. I
Like,
saw
the,
this.
like that Thomas has never seen such a mess. That's not what it says.
I have a soft spot for the fat controller laughed. Because that's just funny. That's just really fucking
But
funny.
that's also just not what the line
yeah.
is.
It's not what he says. It's fucking, oh, the endings are wrong and you shouldn't listen to Rubus, Thomas.
I guess I'm just more numb to shit like that, because, like, fucking anime pictures where they just put a fucking shit ton of, like, filters on it and then have the character say some existential quote is just, like, a really common thing.
You can just explicitly mention that it's mostly Sailor Moon screen caps and Ghibli screen caps. And
It's okay to ask for help. Murder is okay.
I like that
one.
one,
That's a
though.
good one.
I like some of them, and I mean, there's an account I follow that just fucking puts, like, communist stuff over, like...
Yes, I follow that account too. Yeah, that's so
I love
so
that.
good.
I think it doesn't help that most of, like, the fandom memes, because, like, out of fandom stuff is, besides O-Faces, it's, like, those 3 pictures,
Dart's face.
and then fucking, like, that image of Thomas, like, his face, like, crawling out of him. Or, I guess like, Thomas had never been, like, biffed
Thomas
like
memes
this
mostly
before.
suck, honestly. Especially the ones that are made by people that are not Thomas fans. But somehow a lot of the, like, meme attempts by people who are Thomas fans are somehow just as bad. Like, welcome Stanley. Good morning.
Stanley. Good morning. Just fucking... I think it doesn't help that we're still so small. Like, 'cause I think the thing with Thomas and, like, why, like, it seems like we're a fucking toxic cesspool, even though, like, we're not. Like, the fandom isn't anymore than a lot of others. It's because we're so small that anything generally tends to...
It spreads
like,
so easily because there's so few of us.
Yeah. So even stuff that is funny, like, I think some of, like, the initial, like, fucking Rex, like, music edits were funny, but then just everyone was doing it with things that, like, didn't even fit in the slightest, and it just, like, it gets old, because...
Marin regrets it.
Same joke.
He absolutely regrets it still.
Remember everybody was shitting on that episode because of that one shot of Rex's wheels?
I remember when one person was shitting on it.
I remember seeing it a lot.
Like, that's just the lighting, you dumb motherfucker.
I saw it a lot at the time, too, and here's the thing, if it was, like, unfinished, I wouldn't really, like, obviously, like, yeah, the shot should be finished and everything, but it's like, we also know that fucking Useful Railway was one of the 5 episodes made after Arc went bankrupt.
Like, they lost...
Because, like, I think the Smalley episodes, Cautious Connor and All in Vain, were unfinished when, like, that happened, and it's like, yeah, I can kind of excuse if one shot may have not been completely finished.
Like, they lost a whole ass, month of, like, production time.
That's a lot.
A month is a lot in animation.
this
JBS,
is like,
I know, got
Oh,
really
yeah, no,
affected by
JBS
that.
got
oh yeah,
fucked.
absolutely. Like, because there were some amazing looking shots in that film, but
Man.
I will also say, whenever I think of Cautious Connor, the one thing I always think of is that one shot of him just going really slowly, and Joe
Yeah.
just like pushing Skip along with the ball.
Yeah!
Yeah.
I like Steven's
Yeah,
speech in it.
yeah, no, that's a favorite.
Kapow!
Yeah, I especially like the part where
pow!
Tom's just like, wow, Steven, did those engines really pull themselves back together? Oh no, don't be silly, Thomas. They're dead.
No, they fucking died,
Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah!
What?
I-
When I entered into the Rainhill trial,
You see, Thomas,
there was just a fucking horse on a treadmill. That fucker broke through
that
within
was a thing.
seconds. It was
I'm so disappointed they didn't animate
Yeah.
that in like the back, like the fucking flashback.
I love the idea that Steven's just like, the reason I won the Rainhill trials is because no one else survived the trip.
no one else survived the trip. I killed them
Here's the
personally.
thing, isn't
I
that
made
literally?
sure of it.
That's literally what happened.
Just about,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
because
because they were all like
broke.
fucking. Like, early steam engine technology is kind of a shit show.
Yeah. It's like, it is just a whole thing of people not quite knowing how it works. They're just sort of going, well,
Horse just encased
let
in
me
metal.
let me just park my steam engine that I've driven to the pub outside of the pub. Let me just leave it here for a bit. It explodes.
Oh, even exploded!
Jem,
Oh, no!
Jem, Cole, and Trevor.
No, Jem Cole would never.
Just like, I'll be back in a minute, Trevor. I'm just gonna get a drink.
Pop in for a drink, Trev.
Okay, Jem.
I
I'll
could
be back
really
in a
use
minute, Trev.
drink
Just give me a
too.
Fucking-
second. Okay, Jem.
Oh fuck!
Oh, I'm feeling
Oh
fucking
fucking hell! Fucking
Trevor
Trev.
And like,
stands.
Jem's just at the bar and he just hears an explosion. He's just like, oh.
Trevor has
fuck.
become spaghetti.
I made lots of spaghetti, Jem. Fuck's sake, Trev. Fuck you.
Do we have anything
I
else
think
for
it's
this
nice
page?
that the Fat Controller is trying to, like, you know, comfort Thomas and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like that he took the time to come out personally.
Yeah. Like, the guard only phoned for the inspector, but no, the Fat Controller came along as well, just like, oh shit, that's my star child, oh.
This
It's also,
I
speaking of
think this
inspectors,
is-
this is also the first time we actually see a railway inspector, I think.
Oh, not a railway inspector, an
Oh,
engine
well,
inspector.
close,
Capitalized and
close
everything.
enough. Close enough.
damn, is the railway inspector gonna like try and shut down the railway?
No.
I'm going to shut down this railway, despite the fact that I can see
Fan
fish.
stuff.
Well, like,
I
railways would
like-
have, like, you know, dedicated inspectors on staff, so that way they could, like, you know, look into problems with the railway. Whereas, like, the engine inspectors that we tend to see in,
Yeah,
like,
no, I
the
was
TV series are
joking.
more like, you know, they're more like, you know, on the payrolls of higher-ups who want to make sure the railway is, you know, working fine. Whereas these guys are just on hand to take care of problems when they show up.
Like a health inspector, basically.
Yeah. I like how, unlike the engine inspector we see later in book 9, this engine inspector is just wearing a modest suit.
Yeah. He's not an ultra Chad
Also,
like the
actually,
railway,
talking about the-
like the inspector we see in Old Iron.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, that guy
Yeah.
is a fucking
I
legend.
love that guy. Him in his fucking bomber jacket.
Like, he was undoubtedly
Yeah.
wearing sunglasses for the entirety of that.
Aviators, 100% aviators. Absolutely, I will not take criticism otherwise.
And this is the thing, they don't illustrate it because Wilbert thought it was a bit ridiculous, but he actually brought engine-sized aviators for Edward.
And then Edward sort of realized,
Nice.
wait, I can't really see. Goodness me. Oh. And so he just sort of took them off, threw them along the line side, and Henry crunched them, actually.
Oh dear.
Just like I thought you were gonna say they just hit a cow.
Well,
in
that
the
too.
face.
That too. They were like a really big
Do we have anything else for
frisbee or a
this?
boomerang. Some.
Yeah, he threw them and they came back and just knocked Edward in the fucking boiler.
Oh! God, I really need to go to the works now. Oh.
That's why he had to go to the works at the end.
Well, it's like when the Fat Controller's like, oh yes, well, you're gonna go to the works and have your wall parts mended. He doesn't see the side of Edward that the giant aviator's knocked into.
He just has a massive fucking dent in his boiler.
He's
Nice.
just like
Edward's just grinning
Yeah.
through immense pain.
yes, sir, thank you, sir.
Do you have any
I don't think they make
painkillers?
any of them for engines.
Used to hiding the pain.
None for
Just
you,
throw him in the fucking firebox.
Imagine if for like the fucking engines, because like they're fucking huge and shit, as like painkillers, they just gave them like fucking like carfentanil that they used for like elephant tranquilizer.
Talking of the Fat Controller characterization, I like how this is the first time we sort of see his funnier side outside of like just him
Yeah.
simply being a caricature of railway controllers at
Yeah.
the time, like in friggin' 3 Railway Engine.
I wasn't sure whether to bring it up on like this or the next page, but since we're talking about it now, this feels a lot like what they would eventually do with the Fat Controller in specifically season 5 and then
Yeah.
like the later
Yeah.
CGI era,
Comedy
because
top.
it's like where like he legitimately cares, and then like also like he gets in on the bullshit almost as much as the engines. Like he's not immune from it, and it's like
I wish
He's
we
not
had more
immune to
episodes
chaos.
about the Fat Controller, like Dowager, like
Yeah.
Lady Hat's birthday party and shit.
yeah, fucking
That
buckled
whole
tracks
episode
and
is essentially him going, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
this is the life, isn't it, my dear?
I still think the gag of the canal boat
Fucking-
being on the flatbed is the funniest thing the
Yeah.
show did.
Honestly, I
This is the life.
I can agree with
Isn't
that.
it, dear?
This
Fucking-
is the life, isn't it, dear?
The fucking like buckled tracks and like bumpy trucks or whatever the fuck
I think that's
season
exactly
20
it.
episode is probably forgettable one of that season, except for the fact the stuff with the Fat Controller is like genuinely really great to me. Like I really
It's where-
enjoy it, and like
It's where the close-up shots of the Fat Controller sweating come from, and that fine in the episode,
it'll
but
be night soon.
it makes me angry. You know not you
I
know
would,
not
that
how
makes it
often
amazing.
Hayden has posted those with the server with a fucking sweat drip emote.
See, like, I guess as a final thing on this topic, the best episode starring
Yes.
a human character is Dowager Hat
Yeah.
Busy Day.
Oh yeah,
Straight up.
easily.
Now, who did I ask to pull the express? The
Yeah?
great thing about it is he did it.
He makes it over the hill.
Yeah, he didn't he didn't question it either.
He was just like, okay.
Pull the express, okay, I can
Like, like, this is the thing, right? He couldn't do it with like Thomas and Duck, but he did it on his
This is an
own.
absolute chat for that one.
That's what fucking
Oh, you wanna
dedication
talk about
does to you.
some dedication.
I also just love the shot of Gordon
Yeah.
just going like, "You did good, kid."
Yeah, no, it's sweet.
Gracious goodness me, said the fat controller. How did the fish get in there, driver? Thomas's driver scratched his head. We must have fished them up from the river. And he told them about the bucket. The fat controller laughed. Well, shall I show you and your driver have been fishing? But fish don't shoot you, and we must get them out. So the driver and fireman fetched rods and nets, and they all took turns fishing in Thomas's tank, while the fat controller told them how to do it. Yup. Good page.
Yeah, this
I
was
like
fun.
this page. This is
That's a very fun page. You know, I just love, like, them literally fishing out of Thomas's tanks is fun. And just the fat controller, like,
Yeah.
instructing them.
Yeah.
That's really good.
You just gotta put it down there, you know.
I think I've already told the story I have involving this book and a Doubt with Thomas event, but like I love this story.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's just like Thomas is just
Yeah.
like, what are you doing up there?
What the fuck are you doing?
So
You know,
I
like
have
that.
I'm not quite sure about the
cute.
logistics of this, but I have a question. Would the fish still be alive if it were in Thomas's tanks? Like, because I mean,
Probably
boilers are
not.
supposed to
Well,
be
the tanks-
insulated, and
the-
I'm pretty sure, like, you know, like boilers have like cladding around them to make sure the heat doesn't escape. So I feel like if, you know, the water in the tanks was hot enough for the fish to, like,
Yeah.
you know, die of the heat, I think there'd be more pressing concerns at hand about, like, you know, Thomas's boiler losing heat.
Yeah, because like if it was hot enough for the fish to just die, then the water would probably be
Yeah.
boiling in his tank,
Which
Yeah.
wouldn't be ideal.
which like
Yeah, like
from what I
in a
know,
state of,
I don't know much about the more complex aspects of railway design like this, but I think unless there's a pipe from the smoke box into the tank, most of the
Yeah.
heat doesn't travel into the tank.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought that was block, though. That's what,
What?
like, was block, though.
Well, yeah, it's that's the feed pipe that leads the water into the boiler. But like some engines had a pipe from the smoke box right back into the tank, so that the excess steam could be used to preheat the water, which would give
Yeah,
A
that's
more
that's
efficient
that's
boiler.
what the little pipes on Ryan
That's
are.
condensing gear, isn't it? Yeah, condensing gear.
yeah.
You know, some E2s were equipped with
Terriers
that.
were fitted with
Huh.
those.
You see how like Mario,
Terriers
you know how
were as
like
well.
on like the side of Ryan's smoke box, there's like the little pipes that lead into his tanks.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
That's
Yeah,
Huh, I
that's
didn't
what
know that.
that's gonna be on the quiz now as well.
I was...
It's a very interesting piece of
Doc-
railway
Oh,
kit.
shit.
Oh yeah, no.
I
we,
was-
Yeah.
we have to think up a
Okay.
question for Mario at the end of this episode.
I always thought it would... I always thought it would have been hot enough that, like, the fish were dead by the point they were doing this.
Yeah, no,
No, I think the fish.
They're
would be
probably
fine.
just a little bit.
like,
They're a little
had
bit warm,
wa-
but you know, at the very least,
little toasty, little toasty.
but, you know, still alive enough to be, you know, fished out by these guys. Because I mean, otherwise that would be very inconvenient.
Yeah.
Because someone would have to go diving into the tanks to pull out the dead fish.
Yeah, because the water would have
Yeah.
evaporated.
Yeah.
See, the sad thing is, if they're at Farquhar at this point, they could not have gotten those fish back into the water because there's no river near Farquhar.
no. Well, actually, there
they could've
is
just
a
gotten
body
another
of water near
bucket.
Farquhar because there's the bridge over that little waterfall on the tramway.
Yeah, but that's the tramway. That's like miles
True, but that's
away.
like we don't know
Yeah,
where
fair.
that is in relation to the station.
It's pretty far from the station.
They have an engine. They could have just
Well,
taken
yeah,
it
but
back.
they'd have to take the fish out
They would
first.
have
'cause-
suffocated by then.
No, I mean, like, put them in, get a new bucket that's not falling apart. Put them in the bucket, and then fucking dump them back in the river.
But they have to be punished for their crimes of inconveniencing Thomas.
Okay, but
Yeah.
like, I feel like the ending being that the Fat Controller wants to have fish and chips, but then Thomas is like, no, we need to take them home.
That would be
actually
sweet,
really sweet.
but given Thomas's newfound hatred
Yeah.
of fish after the story, I don't think he'd particularly care.
Yeah.
the fucking guy. He said.
Thomas.
Gracious goodness me,
I mean,
Thomas.
he does
Where did you ever
need-
hear such words?
We've
I heard them from you, Dad.
we've never seen him hate live fish. It's always like dead ones on like trains and stuff.
Well, they're dead
so
now.
like
Yeah, we never really know what he thinks of like just normal fish
Yeah.
just doing their thing.
Yeah.
he likes the stuff in that story with the aquarium cars.
But is that canon?
The book.
That- yeah,
Will
well,
it
that's-
canon? That is the question.
Fucking Thomasaurus Rex is the peak canon.
Pete Cannon.
Welcome to the Thomasaurus Rex book club, the book club where we only ever discuss Thomasaurus
I think we
Rex.
joked about
Yeah.
this before.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have.
well, we're
just
not
repeating
original.
jokes.
Yeah. That's true. I don't even know what that was meant to be a direct response to. I think it was just we're just
Yeah.
repeating jokes.
When joke is
Um,
not.
And
When joke
when
is
joke
not.
is.
So do we have anything else
joke
for
ever.
Jerk?
Where did the inspector go?
He went home. His job was done.
He's dead.
Yeah.
No, this is the thing, right? They actually put him into the water, but then he
Oh,
didn't
no.
get out, so he's still in there. See, that's why they're fishing them out. They tried to send him in to get them out, but he couldn't get out, so they just left him there.
Or, alternatively, maybe he did want to stay just because it's such a funny situation. But then he got a call that, James had fucked up somewhere, and he was like, okay, I'll go take care of that.
And so
Actually,
he just simply walked out of Thomas's
Yeah.
tank. Like,
Actually, I'm actually looking, and on the next page, he's actually there.
wait, what?
Oh, never mind
Is
then.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, there he is.
no, I don't see him.
Or is... Oh,
Yeah,
wait, no,
that's
that's
the
the
station
station master.
Is it? What's the difference?
Well, the station master.
It says in the story that it's the station master.
Also, the station master is
okay.
wearing the long station master coat, which is
Yeah.
blue and not like the inspector's brown jacket.
So, okay, I just looked at the station master here, and my first thought was, God, I want to pick him up and throw him to the fucking sun.
Yeah, you want to do that because he isn't the inspector.
And I don't know why my brain gave me those instructions.
Well, it's because he isn't the inspector. You want him to be the inspector, but he isn't. He's failed you. You must destroy him at all costs.
I'm gonna destroy her and dominate you.
Kinky.
Time's up, twink.
Time's up, Twink! I'm gonna destroy her and slap you and punch her and beat you and...
I feel like dominate you would still be fitting in that line.
Twink
honestly.
context.
Kinky.
Do
Yeah.
you want to move on to the
Alright.
next page? Is there
Move
anything
on
else?
to the next
Destroy her
page.
and slap your ass.
I'm gonna destroy
Please,
her
yes.
and slap your ass.
Next page.
Kinky. He could do it because he has a claw.
Next page.
Punch. Next page.
When they had caught all the fish, the station master gave them some potatoes. The driver borrowed a frying pan, while the fireman made a fire beside the line and did the cooking. Then they all had a lovely picnic supper of fish and chips. That was good, said the fat controller as he finished his share. But fish don't shoot you, Thomas, so you mustn't do it again. No, sir, I won't, said Thomas sadly. Engines don't go fishing. It's too uncomfortable.
Okay, so I just
Aw.
want to say first thing, I love the fact that presumably Thomas still had more trains for the day, but he just didn't do them because the Fat Controller, his driver, and fireman just wanted to have fish and chips.
It.
I mean, I'm guessing what must have happened is just, they called off all the trains for the rest of the day because Thomas had his, had his, meltdown earlier.
Yeah.
And since, well, there aren't going to be any more trains for the rest of the day anyway, let's just have some picnic supper.
They probably wanted to make sure he didn't explode
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
See, the main
And
thing I
I
remember
honestly
about this
really
part of
like
the
this.
story
This is
just,
fun.
It is really fun.
This
Yeah.
is so much fun. I love it. They're just having a nice meal and sharing the fish.
Fish and fips.
Hello, Thomas. Would you like some fish and chips?
No, sir. I don't think I like fish anymore.
I think they're
shit. God, I fucking hate them.
God.
Andrew, can I
Yeah.
just say, it is actually kind of scary how you can do an impression of literally anything and have it be practically perfect.
There's a few that are less than ideal.
I do like the way the Fat Controller words his disciplinary action, I guess, because he's like,
He's
that
he's
was
not
good,
even
but
really
please
mad.
refrain from this.
Fish don't suit you.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
the fact that he's like very clearly like he's not angry with Thomas, he's just like, hey, please don't almost explode again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, because he didn't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
literally. Like, it wasn't even
Yeah.
his idea.
Yeah, so it's like it's very much like the Fat Controller's like he's not mad because Thomas didn't really do anything
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
and I mean, neither did
It's
his
like,
crew
The
really.
Fat
It was
Controller's
just an
the Fat
accident.
Controller's just like
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
no
like,
harm
he's
done.
just like he's just like, hey, please don't almost blow up. Again.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's basic.
Gordon's gonna do that.
Take him away! He bellowed. Nah, fucking, It's a bit like when you, almost pass out in gym class, and they've got to wheel you over to the nurse's office, and just sort of be like, hey, maybe actually, eat before going to gym class. Yeah?
Thomas, make sure you have a sandwich before you go to gym class.
Enjoy the chicken sandwich.
It's going to be a very busy day at Train Academy.
Thomas, you're going
I
to
don't-
Train
I don't
Central,
even just
and
relate to-
you need your sandwich for the day.
Now, Thomas, if you're going to make your mark in the world of trains, you need to do it. You don't need to do it on an empty stomach.
Calcium!
God,
Reboot
that's
is
just what
absolutely
the
gonna have
fucking.
a fucking-
That's what those fucking six-wheeled blue trucks are. It's just one of them's just his lunchbox.
I think one of them.
I thought that was
think one of them
canon,
has a fridge in
honestly.
it. I'm pretty sure one of them had a fridge in it. I'm either.
It does,
Wouldn't
I
be
think.
surprised.
It's either. It might have a fridge. It might not. I'm probably getting it confused with the reboot poly art I made at Xavier's behest.
They're absolutely gonna have the main five in the reboot go to like a fucking train school type
Well,
thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. Thomas has already graduated the train program, and is on his way to Train Central.
To make his mark in the world of trains.
Yeah, so he's going to Train Central, which is middle school.
Can I just say, one of the things that confuses me the most about the reboot is the fact that they've kind of relegated James to, the side. When, from what I know, isn't he, the second best-selling character?
Yeah.
I mean, we know he's in the reboot,
We only
and
found out he was.
I think we know his voice actor.
we
at
only
this
found
point?
out he was in the reboot because there was a book cover with him on it.
Yeah.
He's voiced by a teenager or something. Right?
think so.
Probably a literal child.
No, because I'm pretty sure. I never knew if it was real, but there were people saying that a certain person was James's voice
Oh wait,
actor.
yes.
And they found his Instagram account or something. that,
Yeah.
he streams on there.
Yeah. I think I know what
like-
you're talking about actually. Yeah, no, I've seen that.
I could see them using James as basically the equivalent of that character in every kid show where it's the guy that was left back 20 times and like the main characters go up to them to be like, hey, what is a sex? And then it's like, oh, well, let me tell you. And then like it's just like really wrong, whatever
Yeah.
they say.
Well,
I
that would
see-
probably be too
I-
clever.
The main thing I thought of when you said that was just like a clip from some movie the fucking Nostalgia Critic reviewed, where it's just like some kids going into like a fucking like diner, going to find like a teenager, like, hey, do you know any virgins?
I think I know what movie you're
The-
talking about, and I don't even know if it because of it being something the Nostalgia Critic would have reviewed. Is it Monster Squad?
I've tried my best to forget every single Nostalgia Critic video I've
I
watched.
think it's Monster
Okay, yeah,
Squad.
no, I've seen Monster Squad.
It's just like, hey, do you know any virgins? It just fucking spits up a
Yeah.
Coke.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
That seems something. That seems something that would happen. Fucking reboot Thomas and James.
I'd like to add that this is just a really pretty illustration.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I like
Like,
it a lot.
Like, you can see the yellow in the sky. It's like the sun might be setting
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, it definitely gives that impression. Wink. That's
Yeah.
an art term joke for use. Ho ho. Yeah, no. I just love the like warmer color
Well,
palette it uses. Because this is
So
presumably
like,
the evening.
I don't think that tunnel is actually there on the map, but like within the context of the original illustrations of this story, if that's the Hackenbeck tunnel that we saw earlier, Thomas barely made it like another few meters before he had to just uncouple and run into a siding.
That's kind of
Yeah.
funny.
I'm only just noticing that. That's hilarious.
Also, actually, I've just realized something as well. Well, I say just realized, but I realized it when I was doing notes, and then, yeah. It was that the implication with the bucket being leaky, having as many holes in it is that Thomas's crew ended up putting more fish into his tank than they did water.
I forgot about that.
Like, they still got water in, but they still got fish.
yeah.
How many fish do you think were in there? Because it was presumably enough to give like a full fish and chip meal for at least 3 people.
Does anyone want to do the math on that?
I don't, you know what? Dear listeners, you can do the fish math yourselves.
Depending on the size of the fish, you'd only need one.
Anyone who lives near Cornwall, what's the average number of fish for fish and chips?
Answer in the comments below. Wink.
Make sure to like, comment, and
For more
subscribe.
epic
Yeah,
gamer
join our
content.
Discord server. I forgot to say that. I forgot to say at the beginning of the episode again. Fuck, join our Discord
the Discord server.
Join
tell
our
us how many
Discord.
fish are in fish and chips
Yeah,
there.
tell us how many fish and chips are
Join
in
up.
there, and in there.
Tell us
Do
how
not
many
tell us how
fish
many
and
fish and chips are in the Discord server, because as far as I'm aware, there are not any right now. But if there are, you can let us know. Anyway.
Yeah, ratings! I'm gonna go first. Unsurprisingly, given how much I've been hyping this story up, I'm giving it a Douglas.
Yeah.
It's not, I wouldn't say this is my favorite Thomas story, but I feel like, objectively speaking, it is a perfect slice of life Thomas story. Because there's like two kinds of Thomas stories. Like, you have, like, later on, there's a lot more, like, serious kind of, like, storyline heavy stories.
Yeah.
But, the vast majority of stories are, like, this kind of slice of life fare. And I feel like this is one of the most perfect examples. And, I just said this probably isn't my favorite story of all time. But I feel like this and Thomas's Train are probably the best stories out of the, like, first 6 books, where, like, most of the stories tend to be kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's the Douglas for me.
completely respect that. Who's going next?
You're second in the introductions. You should go second in the ratings.
Yeah, easier to edit.
So when I talked about how I would talk about the fucking existential crisis this episode sent me to on later later is now, because I didn't not like this when I like read it and watched it and everything, but I also didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would. Because it's like, I love the story concept. I love, like, the idea of it, a lot of what, like, comes of it. But the actual... And, like, I like stuff in it. It's just kind of... eh. And, like, I really didn't want to come... Like, didn't think or want to come out with that verdict. And after, like, this, I ended up watching and, like, listening to a bunch of other episodes and Railway series stories from around the same era, including what was in, like, the other two in this book, to see, because, like, honestly, I was just thinking, it's like, do I not like this series or something as much as I thought I did? Because, like, and especially because this had come, when I did my notes, it was right after I had watched a series in my own time, Love Live Sunshine, and I had a lot of mixed feelings on that as well. And it was just like, am I just being a negative bitch? It's like, or like, is
Why are you
like
not
my
a negative
anti?
bitch?
No, I know that, and that's kind of what I had to. Like I said, this kind of episode, or this story, just kind of sent me spiraling a bit, and it was like, is it like, are my antidepressants not working right? And I'm just in a, like, fuck, everything sucks mood. But, like, I enjoyed the other stuff I watched and listened to, and I think what it is for me is this story reminds me kind of James and the Bootlaces, where once the plot starts, Thomas doesn't do anything. Like I said, like, he's not the one to suggest the fishing. He doesn't speak at all during that scene. And outside of his last lines, the last line, like, every line he has is just kind of like an interchangeable, like, oh, like, it hurts, which, like, obviously fitting for the situation, but, like, still, it just, and, like, I like what they do with, like, the crew, like, fishing out, and, like, the Fat Controller and all of that, but, like, it's also kind of like James and the Bootlace, where it feels like it just becomes a story about that, rather than Thomas wanting to go fishing. And especially for a story that, like, plays as big of a role in an aspect of Thomas's character, like, I thought there was more to it than this. And I just put Percy, because I can't, like, justify giving it a 5, because there's stuff I like about it, but, like, I don't know, I came out of this one a bit more disappointed than I wanted to. And, like, I completely enjoy, I mean, there's aspects I enjoy, and I completely understand why, like, this story is popular, why, like, what the appeal is in it and everything. It just, I guess it just wasn't for me.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Not everybody has to like the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, like, for me, I just, like, this story isn't, like, perfect to me, but I fucking love it. It is, like,
Fair.
it is one of my favorites. Like, Thomas Goes Fishing is one of my favorites from, like, I guess the season 1 batch. You know, all the stuff that made up season 1 TV series. And, it's just, like, a fun episode that I feel like I can always watch. And, like, I can always have a good time with it. I like the music. I like a lot of the modeling. The Elsbridge set's really good. And like the story itself's not amazing, but I still like have fun with it, and it gave us a really fucking good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song's great.
I love Gone Fishing.
Yeah. Okay. Not to like lose the thread or anything, but which version of the song do you guys like more?
The
version
one
with,
without
like,
the kids.
the kids choir singing the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Cannot
this is the
stand
thing,
those
right?
goddamn kids. All right. Fucking.
I only had the one with the kids when I was younger, so I like it purely for nostalgia's sake.
I also only had the one with the kids on, but when I
I had
borrowed...
the album which had the one without the kids, so I thought it was weird at first, but then like grew to enjoy it.
I think the one without the kids fits more of the song, but the one with the kids makes it feel more like a Thomas song. If that makes sense.
I kind of wish we had
like
more
both.
songs of Mike and Junior singing.
Yeah.
Because like I'm not that into Engine Who Ran Away, but like I really like the singing in it.
Yeah.
So it's like so with this with like the story,
How's the final say?
I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but it's, I guess for like a lack of a better word, it's like a comfort story for me. I have a lot of nostalgic attachment to it, and like anytime I think of like so if you ask me like, hey, think of a Thomas episode, I'm probably gonna think of something like Thomas Goes Fishing. So I'm gonna say like an 8 for like a duck, not because of like it being like an amazing story, just because I really like it.
It's completely fair.
I shall give this a Donald. I really like Thomas Goes Fishing. It's a really fun story. Well, yeah, no, it definitely isn't. It definitely isn't perfect by any means. To regurgitate what everyone else has said in different ways, there's a lot to enjoy about it, and indeed, there's a lot that I enjoy about it. Whether it's like the one in the book or the TV version, it's just all around a nice, fun story. That yes, Thomas does almost die, but like
it's such a
Thomas
silly
does
situation.
wacky shenanigans this week on
Can't be that
Thomas's
upset
Red
by
Slide
it.
and take it to Thomas again.
Thomas does also die, but have we ever wished for anything else?
Yeah, I mean,
God,
really would have been a blessing.
free us.
Yeah.
Plus, we get the Fat Controller like telling Thomas's crew how to fish. That's
That's
that
great.
is
Yeah.
like that is really
Even if Thomas doesn't do an awful lot in the story, it still has way more personality.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's
this is the thing, right? I never realized that. That implies that the Fat Controller is like an avid fisher.
I mean, it might be. There's nothing to disprove
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
he's watched
Well,
a
like,
lot of
if-
fishing
if-
shows.
If he's showing
He
them
wears
how
the
to do
fucking
it,
Sir Top of a hat, but instead of the top hat, he puts on a hat that says MILF. Man, I love fishing.
No,
Women
it's
want
just like-
me,
it's
fish
just like
fear me,
women-
mermaids feel conflicted
Bitch,
about
fear
me.
me, I was just thinking that.
women love me, fish fear me, James hates me.
Fucking or it's like the other room that's like, people always ask me why I just say morning and not good morning. If it were a good morning, I'd be fishing.
God.
That's just what he does when he retires.
see,
He just goes
like,
fishing.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go into like the it's not the hair that makes the lesbian, it's the sword, but it's just the Fat Controller.
We could have done.
Honestly, those those fucking women want me, fish fear me hats are fucking the ultimate toxic fucking boomer thing, unless it's a lesbian wearing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of stuff
I
is
hope
better
that
if
Miss
it's co-opted
Jenny-
by lesbians.
I
Yeah.
hope
Yeah.
Miss Jenny is is an avid fisher solely because I want to see her wear that hat.
Yes.
Miss Jenny absolutely is a lesbian.
Yes. I will accept nothing else.
Agreed.
I
Miss Jenny-
think
this is
I
the
simply
thing, right?
believe that she and Ruth kiss.
Same.
Okay, this is the
I
thing,
was just
right?
gonna say.
Every Sunday, Miss Jenny and Kelly sneak away from the yard and they just go fishing. Like she has like a special like hook rigged up for Kelly that has like a little fish hook on it.
Yeah, they just chat.
That's fun.
They just chat about shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm going fucking off the rails here, but like, it's canon that Kelly was owned by Miss Jenny's father, so she's probably known him since like she was a kid. So I feel like they
Yeah.
would have some really genuine conversations while just like bonding over fishing.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Gone fishing.
Da
Gone.
da 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 da.
Sunny day and you're on your way. Why don't we all go
We are
fishing?
all gay.
True.
Okay, well,
Do we have any other thoughts that we want to get out before the episode ends?
next time we'll be talking about another very good story.
Next time
Yes,
we're talking about what I
And
think
we'll
is
be
probably
meeting the
like-
first non-rail character.
I love the next two. Like I know I've kind
the
of been
thing,
the
right?
most negative one on this podcast, but I
I don't
genuinely
think
love
you've
the
been
next
negative.
two.
What the heck? You've been going.
Well, I mean, I'm the most out of like just I mean like the whole series in general tend to be the harshest, but
Mari, just because you have different opinions doesn't mean you're negative.
Yeah, if you were negative,
You know what I
would-
mean.
You'd be going, ah, I fucking hate Thomas Goes Fishing. It's bullshit. Fucking, where's our God? Where's our? He's in hell.
Like, you were like very constructive and genuine in expressing how you feel.
Yeah.
That's not negative. That's having a different opinion.
thank
Yeah,
you.
like-
You need to have more
I-
self-confidence in yourself, hon. You're allowed to have different opinions.
Thank you. I do want to say one thing though, and this is a bit self-deprecating, but it's the truth.
We'll see about that.
Never worry too much about my opinions, considering I read fucking all 50 chapters of fucking Prettiest Girl in the Morgue, which I at least told Liv and Jamie what that is. I won't give context.
I'm not going to explain
it's
what
not
that is either.
good. Yeah,
You're gonna have to find
it's
out
not-
for yourself.
Oh, okay.
And
Or
hopefully you
don't.
do
The
it.
story's not good.
But you know,
I read
but
all
for
50
now,
chapters, though.
we're
I don't
gonna
have a
go.
quality filter.
For now, we're gonna go, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Railway Series Book Club. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.